Can everyone see my screen? Has three lovely people on. I'll be speaking today. My name is Rose Martinez. I'm the director for the Bellwether College Consortium, and I just want to welcome everyone who's on the phone, on the web today, joining us for our second Bellwether College Consortium webinar series. And I'm very happy on behalf of the consortium, very happy to co-host this webinar with Central Arizona College, our 2020 Bellwether Award recipient in the category of Governance, Planning, and Finance for their submission titled Education at the Speed of Industry. So we are very happy to have on the line, on the air, in the Zoom call with us Jackie Elliott, who is the president and CEO of Central Arizona College, Sean Ray, who is the director of Craft Workforce Development at Sundt Construction, and James Bush, who is the director of Skilled Trades and Workforce Development at Arizona, Arizona Central College. If you would, I would like to go ahead and read their bios. But before I do, I just want to remind everybody to make sure that they keep themselves on mute. I know we're all working from our homes more than likely. Some folks are in the office, but for those of us working on our homes, I know, we have barking dogs, doorbells, folks looking at that bag of chips right now thinking this is the time to eat, and I am right there with you because I have not had lunch. But if you could just mute yourselves, that would be great, just so we have as clear of dialogue and information that we can hear during this time. So just wanted to let you all know that. Let me go ahead and start with introductions. Dr. Jackie Elliott, who is president and CEO of Central Arizona College, was selected as the 9th president of Central Arizona College, where she assumed the role in July of 2016. Prior to her arrival at Central Arizona College, Dr. Elliott served as the 3rd and first ever female president of North Arkansas College in North Ark from 2011 to 2016. During her tenure, she led the development of the college's comprehensive strategic plan and implemented the first academic, facility, and information technology master plans for that institution. The planning model she developed, which North Ark used to advance improvement, has been patented and trademarked. Prior to her joining North Ark, Dr. Elliott served as Vice President for Student Affairs at Northwest Missouri State University in Maryland. Dr. Elliott has served in various student affairs leadership roles at Barton College in Kansas, Creighton University in Nebraska, and Highland Community College in Kansas. Nationally, Dr. Elliott serves on the Board of Trustees for the Higher Learning Commission, Executive Committee for the Alliance for Innovation and Transformation, and as past president of the North Central Council for 2-year colleges. Dr. Elliott received her doctorate in education with a specialization in educational leadership and administration from the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, her master's degree from Fort Hays State University in Kansas, and her bachelor's from Concordia University in Nebraska. So thank you, Jackie Elliott, for being with us. We also have Sean Ray, who, as I said, is Director of Craft Workforce Development at Sundt Construction. Sean Ray served in the United States Navy from 1990 to 1993 as a sonar technician on the USS Vincent, a guided missile cruiser. When not on watch hunting submarines, Sean was in charge of maintenance on the cooling skids for the sonar system, his introduction to piping systems. In 1994, he entered the construction field as a pipe fitter's helper. Through the years, he's moved up to journeyman pipe fitter, foreman, and into quality control. He entered the management side of construction in 2003 as a superintendent and has served as construction manager, corporate quality manager, and operations manager. Sean is an NCCER master trainer and is the NCCER primary administrator and ATS sponsor for Sundt Construction. He is a master certified project manager through Villanova University and is AGC CM Lean certified. Sean has been instrumental in building connections between industry and education, which is why we have him here today. In fact, the partnership that Sean helped create with Central Arizona College now has over 328 students enrolled in the Sundt/CAC or CAC Workforce Development Program. The program is made up of 5 pre-employment 1-year certificates and 2 3-year academic apprenticeship programs that will lead to certifications, certificates, and degrees that prepare students for workforce needs in the area of heavy equipment operator, structural welding, pipe fitting, pipe welding, and industry carpentry. Sean, we're happy to have you with us today. Finally, we have James Bush, who's Director of Skilled Trades and Workforce Development at Central Arizona College. For the past 10 years, James Bush has trained diesel technicians and heavy equipment operators at Central Arizona College in Pinal County, Arizona. He has had the honor of fostering many partnerships with industry leaders and has a passion for bringing industry and students together. The partners include Sundt Construction, Underground Construction, Asarco Mining, Freeport Mining, Empire Cat Equipment, and Kabuta Equipment. Before his move to education, he served 10 years in the U.S. Army and as a direct support mechanic for the Federal Civilian Service. James received his bachelor's in science and career and technical education from Northern Arizona University and is a master trainer for the National Center for Construction Education and Research. And his favorite quote is, "If you can't explain it simply, then you don't understand it well enough." And I hear you, James, and that's why I don't teach calculus. So welcome, all of you all. I appreciate you being here today. This particular session was an interest of many people, and so hopefully we will have people that are on the call asking some good questions. I know I have at least one. So if we can begin with the next slide, please. Move that. I just want to give you a couple of tidbits to let you know that the webinar series will continue with cloud migration as the next session that will be co-facilitated with Howard Community College. And as those of you who are at our Futures Assembly in San Antonio know that they are also a Bellwether Award recipient. And so we look forward to hearing from them as well. The other 2 sessions that you see there are actually new. If you were a respondent to our COVID-19 survey that the Bellwether College Consortium had extended to all of its members, we will have sessions that are in response to the survey feedback that we received. And basically it is asking questions in regards to what challenges came about at your individual college that were related to COVID-19. So the first session will be online education models in response to COVID-19. And I'm working on getting some guests there that I think will be very informative. And then the second will be college funding models. We heard a lot about, obviously, interest, questions about how will colleges continue to fund and sustain themselves, given the fact that there could be some dips in enrollment and there will be some added maybe expenses due to this change that we had thrust upon us so suddenly. And so we're identifying some good speakers for that as well. So I hope you can join us. We will have more information on the web sent to you via Constant Contact and then through our social media resources. So if you are not following us on Twitter or not on the Facebook page that we have, please do so. That's how we send out our information to you as well. So would love to have you join us. And then finally, move this slide forward. Thank you. I know many of you are also interested in next year's Bellwether Award competition. On May 7th, we will open the portal to make sure that. But that would not be next classes on a pathway. I think someone. First classes on a pathway are supposed to be those initial. Can you mute yourself? I think we have someone speaking. Sorry. There we go. Sorry. So on May 7th, we will have our submission portal open for all our, for everyone, all the community colleges that wish to compete for a Bellwether Award. August 20th is roughly our deadline. Make sure we have enough submissions that we hope to definitely have enough time for you to think about what you want to pull together in any of the three categories, which would be workforce development, planning, governance, and finance, and instructional programs and services. And it just hit me, this particular session is actually the workforce development category winner, not the PTF, so I apologize for that. And then October 30th is when we will be announcing our 30 bellwether finalists. We will also open registration at that point. We will be at the San Antonio Hilton Palacio del Rio. Yes, we totally know that things could change given where we are with COVID-19, and I am personally looking at the possibility of a virtual conference. So the competition will go on, and just as we had some very strong speakers last year, this year, we will have the same, I know for a fact, in 2021. So it's just a matter of where we will be and how close we will be to each other. But the competition continues. This is our trademark, and we enjoy doing it. We enjoy making sure that our colleges are very much aware of the innovations happening nationally. So with that, we will move on to our Bellwether Award winner, Central Arizona College and Sundt Construction. Dr. Elliott, you have the floor.
Thank you, Rose. We appreciate this opportunity to share with you our partnership. And we, as a college and Sundt Construction, were extremely honored to be selected as the Bellwether Award recipient in the category of workforce development. I'll do a few openers, and then I'm going to go to the PowerPoint, and Sean and James kind of will take it from there. But a lot of people ask me what is so unique about this partnership, because colleges and universities have lots of partnerships. They have MOUs and agreements, and we're all familiar with those. But I always tell this story. I've been in higher ed for a long time, and many of you probably can go to your career and technical education buildings, and you'll see a banner hanging there. It might be a John Deere banner, it might be Case IH, or it might be Ford Motor Company, or whoever is a partner. And I always ask when I see those banners, oh, I see you're a partner with John Deere. How's that partnership going? And the answer is usually, oh yeah, we did some stuff for them a couple years ago, and they wrote us a check and we hung a banner. Well, what we feel like makes this partnership unique is what we call the 4 C's, the commitment. So our boards both signed a commitment to do this partnership. We co-designed the curriculum. I mean, Sean sat with James and they developed the curriculum. We co-deliver. Sundt employees teach for Central Arizona College in this program, and I know Sean and James are going to get into that more. And then the 4th is we stay constantly engaged. Sean and James present together all the time. I probably email Sean more times a week than I maybe do anybody at my organization. They are a true partner. And I think the thing that really resonated with me, and I like to kind of start off with this before I go into the PowerPoint and let James and Sean go into the why we developed this, is every year Sundt has a leadership academy in Tucson, and we've been invited every year. And this year, Mike Hoover, who is the CEO of Sundt, stood up in front of his leadership community and his company and said, Central Arizona College is here. They'll always be here. They're a partner of ours, and they're part of the Sundt family. So that meant a lot to us. So Sean and James, I don't know if you want to say a couple words while I'm trying to get the PowerPoint up, but I'll turn it over to you guys real quickly.
Great. No, thank you. And like I said, me and Sean are definitely very honored to be Bellwether recipients and to be able to share this partnership that we created with everyone. We definitely feel like it's, replicable anywhere in the country. It's not something that just works here, in our state or with construction companies and community colleges. Really, any education and industry entity could pull off the exact same results that we pulled off if they follow the model. So we're very honored to be here and to be sharing all this with everyone, and we hope that everyone goes back and starts implementing some, if not not all of the things that we've done that we've enjoyed a lot of success from. So.
Yeah. Perfect timing. All right, so I'll lead us up. As the introduction said, my name is Sean Ray. I'm the Director of Craft Workforce Development for Sundt Construction. In 2017, Sundt approached Central Arizona College with an opportunity to tackle an industry problem that we're facing in the construction industry, and that's a national shortage of craft professionals. So as you can see on the slide, we're looking at a shortage of 2 million craft professionals by 2021. One thing I can tell you, we're not 100% sure yet how the COVID-19 is going to impact this number. Some things don't change, like national disasters, where we just saw the tornadoes that went through the South. That tends to spike construction needs because a lot of things have to be rebuilt. We are seeing some scenarios where owners or clients have, backed off of some of their requests for proposals due to, the cash flow that's been coming in around the hotel industry or even the college industry. So we don't know yet, but one thing we do know is construction's not going to stop, and we continually still need people coming into it. Home building, you'll see the first bullet there. We currently have 300 vacancies, and there's going to be an additional 746,000 by 2026. One thing we do know is even if construction does slow down somewhat over the next 6 months to a year based off of the COVID, we do know that it's going to blow up after that, and this need is going to be even stronger. That includes here in Arizona, where we rank 13th in the nation for the need for skilled trades. So this was a huge obstacle that we came up against. And I'll be honest with you, when we first set out on this task, we were focused on Arizona. And we quickly realized, to James's point earlier, that this could turn into being a national solution. There is no silver bullet, but we believe this is one of the best options out there for getting more professionals into the construction trade. So what we're doing, we have a quick video to show you guys. I hope the sound works, and we'll show you kind of a little bit about the partnership.
And I'm going to apologize. I have to turn my sound up very loud on my computer to make this work. So we're going to go ahead and play it. And if you can't hear, I can restart it. We said to Sundt, okay, we can do this, but we need your help because we don't even know what type of skill set you're looking for, what competencies would be included. And so we sat down at the table with Sundt and we built the program course by course and stackable certificates leading to this degree.
We needed a partner who was going to listen to what we needed and work with us to get it developed. What Central Arizona College needed from us was a partner who's actually going to be involved. Because that's where the industry falls short, is we will go to a community college and say, we need pipe fitters, we need welders, make this happen, we'll see you in a year. And then when it's not what we wanted, we said, well, you guys just don't know what you're doing.
We had 3 months to execute the program and deliver it from May to August in 2017. We were able to do that, and we filled the classes very quickly. We had a very low turnover rate. Our retention rate was really high.
We went from a program that maybe had 4 students. In year 3, we're over 200 students, and potential could hit 300 students in the program.
It's actually more than preparing me. It's giving me new opportunities with new jobs and new companies to hire me and get me on track.
We've really shortened that learning curve between graduating from a formal education facility and putting that knowledge to work. Our students hit the ground running.
Once we started getting students from the Central Arizona College program, they're trade specific. So they're not coming in as a laborer. They're coming in as a pipe fitter helper, welder helper, heavy equipment. With the stackable credentials through the NCCER, now when I hire somebody out of the Central Arizona College program, I can continue their training right where they left off.
we've been able to look at the partnership with Sundt and learn how to grow other programs. And we expect that, number one, we're going to be the best in Arizona and improves the quality of life for students who are actually working in the community.
We're here to serve students, our community, and our community's employers. So when Sundt sat at the table with us, it made me pause, and I thought, you know what?
Oops.
This might be an opportunity to actually do it right.
Sorry about that. Oh no, I had to admit somebody into the waiting room.
Oh, okay.
So James, why don't you talk to us a little bit about how we did it? What did it look like?
So prior to the Sundt partnership, our motto for skilled trades at Central Arizona College was education that works, and it was clever and it was catchy. However, we've changed it to education at the speed of industry, and the reason we did that is because we realized very quickly with our conversations with Sundt is community colleges function much differently than most other industries, really, and especially construction. For example, construction doesn't take June and July off in the summertime. They don't get a week off in spring break. They don't take time, things like that. So we realized that the college needed to become more like the construction industry, and rather than asking the construction industry to become more like a college. And it was eye-opening, it was refreshing, it was innovative, and we enjoyed it. Even though it seemed a little scary, people tend to, stick with what they know. This is the way we've always done it in the past and stuff like that. I think that it was actually a breath of fresh air for the college and definitely for my staff and the skilled trades department. So what we did is that we decided on the curriculum, and of course we used the National Center of Construction Education and Research, or NCCR curriculum. Sean and his team at Sundt had already been using NCCR curriculum, and we're a ATEF, or an accredited training education facility at Central Arizona College. So it was a seamless matchup because we both agreed that the NCCR was the best curriculum out there to deliver and develop the skill sets that Sundt was looking for. And it helped guide us through the curriculum development and things like that, where Sundt could actually pick and choose what parts of that curriculum they really wanted to focus on. We obviously, we also embedded OSHA training, OSHA 30 level training into all of the different programs, so that when students graduated and they went to work, they didn't have to go through OSHA training again. They would already have a certified OSHA training certification. Focusing on the areas that Sundt told us was the most important, which we mentioned was heavy equipment operations, industrial carpentry, welding, pipe fitting, and pipe welding. We set forth and outlined those programs with the NCCR credentials necessary to graduate a student that could, for lack of a better term, hit the ground running when they went to work for Sundt. And of course, it's all college credit and it's all stackable credentials. So a student potentially could come to Central Arizona College, get a level 1 certificate, go to work for Sundt, and then continue that training and continue that to get an associate's degree or even a bachelor's degree that we worked through NAU with. So that way that they had exit plans. Not everyone can go to school. Not everyone can sacrifice 2 years of school to go to work. Some people need that fast track program, and so we offer that. And then the ones that want to stick around and refine their skills, then we also offer that. So, and that's where education at the speed of industry came from.
Yep. So how we did it. So a couple things on this one. You heard Jackie talking about the 4 C's, and you also heard James talking about, it was fun and refreshing. There was a lot of hard work involved also. And also a lot of leadership involved. Jackie, the president of Central Arizona College, my supervisor at Sundt, Dan Haig, the CAO, 100% backed us through this process because it was out of the box thinking. So we'll start going through the 4 C's. Jackie, do you want to talk about the commitment piece? Because you played a big role in this.
Sure. I always tell everybody if Sundt had walked in and handed me a check for the program, I would have said, no, thank you. I really wanted to build a true partnership. And so when we started talking about this, we talked about a sustainability agreement because there's always concern when leadership changes, is this going to be sustainable? Will it continue? And because you build really good things and then you see them fall away, and we've all experienced that. So my board of governors and Sundt's board of directors signed a sustainability agreement and commitment, which I felt like added a lot of validity to the program, but also put some accountability on myself and Sean and Dan, who worked at Sundt at the time, to make sure that this program actually happened and that it was sustainable for the long term. And then we, you know, the college took on a lot of the risk at the onset of this. We knew that we had some funding that we were going to use because we were moving away from an old apprenticeship model program. But at the end of the day, we took on the risk as a college, and we had to hire additional staff. We had a career navigator whose job was to promote the program, to help students get enrolled in the program. We also talked to Sundt about don't hire our students away before they're finished. We want them to leave with a credential in hand, whether it's a certificate or the entire degree. And then Sundt, you know, without me ever asking, dedicated resources and personnel to the recruitment effort of this program. Now, Sundt has an office on campus where they can do their recruiting. They've donated tools to the program without us ever asking. They just made sure that we had what we needed, and vice versa. We make sure that it's got to, Sundt success is our success and vice versa. So the commitment of the leadership has been really strong to ensure that we're both successful and that our students are successful. And James is going to get to that later. But many of our students will leave with, you know, 6, 7 stackable credentials that really help them get employed very well in the community. So I don't know if you two want to add something to the commitment, the 4 C's.
She did great.
No,
I think that was perfect.
Yeah, I think it's great.
Okay. So
James, do you want to talk about co-design for us?
Yeah, so, you know, I touched a little bit on this when I gave the overview of education at the speed of industry. And Jackie talked about what makes this partnership different than others. You know, me and Sean, we've had the opportunity to kind of go around and talk, you know, to a lot of different organizations about this partnership. And one of the questions we get is, you know, we can tell that you guys, you know, you have a closer partnership than most, and how'd that come about? And I think that we made that commitment to each other that we were going to build this together. It wasn't going to be that, you know, Sundt Construction dropped off a check and some equipment and put it in the hands of Central Arizona College to give them, an entry-level craft professional that they were happy with. We decided we were going to build this together every step of the way. Of course, utilizing the NCCR curriculum was a huge help. We were able to, you know, meld Central Arizona College and Sundt together. To be honest, in most cases, if you were to come to Central Arizona College's campus, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference in a Sundt employee and a Central Arizona College employee. We wear the same shirts. We teach the same classes. We make sure that it's seamless when students are interacting with either an industry professional like Sean and his team or an education professional like myself and my team. The NCCR programs allows us to, again, give these industry credentials to students so that they can enter the workforce with a card or a credential that says, I have been through certified training by a certified instructor. And what's nice about that is when Sean gets a CAC graduate, he knows just by looking at their credentials exactly what kind of training that they've gotten. He also knows that it's a good chance that student or that graduate has been trained by one of his staff members, which is a huge benefit. And I think Sean could probably speak to it cutting back a little bit on the transition period from going from a community college to working in the industry.
That's huge.
So that's the co-design portion. I think we're already up on the co-deliver.
Oh, I'm trying to go back. I'm sorry. Okay.
Nope, that's fine. Yeah, and then, you know, that last bullet point on there was about the Sundt culture being embedded into the program. You know, the truth is all of the students that come through my programs or Central Arizona College's programs go to work for Sundt. A lot of them go to work for other companies and things like that, depending on what their needs are and what their desires are. But all of them are familiar with Sundt and how Sundt works as a company. I would say all of the entry-level students, they all want to go work for Sundt in the beginning. They all walk around with Sundt backpacks and Sundt hard hats, and they'll always remember that Sundt had played an important role in their development of their skills and their career. So I think that was really important.
And I think to James's point, I mean, the name of the partnership is the Sundt Central Arizona College Workforce Development Programs, but Sundt Construction does not own those students, right? So we actually, CAC and Sundt, we encourage other contractors to come in and recruit from the program. That allows us to keep our numbers high on the amount of people that are employed. Competition's always good. So, you know, obviously from the Sundt perspective, we want to get the best of the best out of the program, but we have to earn it just like any other contractor that's recruiting out of the program. So as far as can we go to the co-deliver? Perfect, thank you, Jackie. So co-deliver, I have 3 full-time, we'll call them instructors that work for me, trainers, instructors, however you want to call it, but they're also adjunct instructors at the college. So we donate that time. We don't, Central Arizona College does not pay the Sundt employees when they teach at the college. All of my instructors are salary employees. That's time donated. Now, I will tell you that there were some scenarios where James needed an additional instructor for some night classes. And since that was out of the normal work time for the Sundt employees, they got paid by Central Arizona College to teach those night classes. I think one of the keys that James and I both saw early on is both the Sundt instructors and the Central Arizona College professors, goodness, are subject matter experts. Where I think Sundt brings in additional information is in the latest trends. So if there's something new happening in the industry, if there's a new technique or new technology, we're able to bring that to Central Arizona College really quick because we're seeing it right up front. So that allows Sundt to help Central Arizona College in that aspect, but the professors at Central Arizona College have also helped my instructors in learning more about how to educate young adults, how to utilize some of the technology. So it's been a really, really good blend between the two. The last thing that I'll talk about is we do go beyond the technical instruction of becoming a craft professional. We do spend time with the students talking about finance management, employability skills, and what retirement looks like. These young adults, a lot of them aren't thinking about retirement. They're thinking about how much money they can make right off the bat or buying a new truck or whatever the case may be. So we do want to spend some time with them, letting them understand the big picture behind this, because we don't want this to be a job. We want them to come into this as a career and look at this as long-term. I do know, Jackie, that we're getting some questions. Do we want to answer the questions now, or do you want to hold on to the end?
Maybe we can hold on till the end. I think that's kind of what Rose kind of instructed us to do.
Perfect. Okay. On the co-deliver part, I'd just like to add, you know, not only has this turned into a skilled trades partnership, you know, with Sean and his team and Sundt, you know, we work hand in hand with them on a lot of different aspects. We've just created another partnership just like this with Wilson Electric, and Sean and his team was there every step of the way, helping that along and helping mentor that company to, you know, learn from them, you know, the different mistakes that we made, and to learn from, you know, the different way of looking at things and the understanding of how a community college works. And they were there more as a mentor to actually mentor this other company. Now, Sean and Sundt isn't going to get anything out of that. That's a totally different industry. But you know, we're in this together. And I think that we can't say that enough, that this partnership is more than just an advisory board. You know, we're definitely tackling this problem together.
Yeah, we weren't trying to tackle a Sundt issue.
No.
we were trying to tackle an industry issue. And to do that, one of the things that had to happen, and then Jackie brings this up a lot, but everybody had to check their egos at the door, right? The community college had to allow a construction company to come in and say, hey, this is what we want and this is how it needs to happen. But at the same point, the construction industry had to check their ego, to Jackie's point, and just not write a check and say, hey, we'll see in a year and everything needs to be perfect. We all came together with the right incentives, and I think that's why this has been so successful.
Is this mine?
We already did that once. We need to go
No,
one
this
more.
is us.
We just did constant engagement, didn't we?
No, you just did co-deliver.
Oh, okay. I'm ahead, I guess.
So we've talked about this a little bit, but a lot of people ask us how we ended up getting so many students the first year. Keep in mind, when we first started this program, James, what were your numbers looking like?
They were really low. I mean, they were low to the point where we were probably looking at having to, sunset some programs and focus, on smaller efforts, because we just didn't have the student enrollment that we needed to run these programs.
So we had to think outside the box. We had 3 months to try to hit our goal of 100 students within the first year. And some of the ways we did that was going through different conferences, talking to different teachers, counselors, ag, whatever the case may be. So a couple of the conferences, we attended the American Council for Construction Education, Association for Career and Tech Ed, the NCCR Pathways. Those are just some of the ways that we stay connected. James and I constantly are walking the areas at Sundt Arizona College. I try to get there at least 2 or 3 times a month, sometimes more. I'll be honest with you, I just show up. I don't ever, James would probably throw a brick at me if I called and tried to set up a meeting. I just go in and I'm able to walk the classrooms. I'm able to talk to the students. And then James and I, our foundation, I think, was established pretty quick. I think where things really came together is the model that we established for this partnership, where each one of the Sundt instructors has a counterpart at Sundt Arizona College. So James's weld professional has a counterpart at Sundt, who's my weld instructor, and they meet, talk about curriculum. They make decisions, right?
Yeah. So, just to expand on that a little bit, if my welding instructor is working on a project or has an issue or something like that, and they come and talk to me, a lot of times, one of my very first questions is, have you spoken to your Sundt counterpart? Because that's how we embed up-to-date real life industry experience with the college experience, right? We got to make sure that we have that constant engagement with Sundt or whatever company we're working with to make sure that we've got their insight. And so a lot of times, before myself and one of my team members might jump on a problem, I'll refer them to their Sundt counterpart. I have a Sundt counterpart in welding, pipe fitting, industrial carpentry, heavy equipment operation. And to be honest with you, you put those 2 people together and typically they can figure just about anything out. And then they can, run it by me and Sean, and we give the head nod, and then it's usually figured out. So I think that's really important, that every decision that is made in the skilled trades department is made with a Sundt and CAC representative. There's no one-sided decisions made.
That is our advisory committee, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the other thing that I usually try to touch on is the advisory committee model. I think it's a broken model, and I don't want to offend anybody, but you bring your advisory committee together once a year, you feed them breakfast, you get them around the table, you say, what do you guys need? And we academics nod and go, yeah, okay, thanks for coming. Check a box off of our accreditation checklist. We had our advisory committee meeting, and then we go back and do what we've always done. And I think while this model takes a lot of time and energy and effort, it's the right model for our students and for our employers. And so the old advisory, you know, we still have to have them. We still have to check that box on accreditation, but I think it leads us down the path of doing a disservice to our students and to our employers. So here's our outcomes. You guys want to, is this mine or yours?
Go ahead,
That's
Jackie.
yours,
This is
Jackie.
the good stuff.
Okay, so I like numbers, I like outcomes. So here's what we saw. Our first year was 104 students, and then the second year 214, and then 350. And I don't really know where we're at now moving into next year, but we are expanding, thinking about expanding some of the program over to another campus. The degrees and certificates that we've awarded in this program, 43 up to 86. And now we also do this with the high schools. With our 6 high schools, they're busing students to the college for the Sundt program, and that's what they call it. They call it the Sundt program, not the Sundt CAC program. And we call it the Sundt program too. So that's how embedded it is. 100% employment rate. But I think my favorite part is the little tweet on the side that came through from a mom about her son getting a job. And I don't know if Sean or James want to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah,
I like this one.
yeah, I like to talk about this one, and sometimes, you know, not to put Jackie on the spot, sometimes she gets a little choked up when we talk about this. So, but yeah, so this is a tweet that was actually captured by the Sundt marketing team, you know, and it's a mother who is, and you can read it, is on there bragging about how her son attended the Central Arizona College Sundt training program, was hired on by Sundt Construction, received $1,000 signing bonus for completing the Sundt CAC program. And I really wish we could have put everything on there. You know, we couldn't fit it all on the screen. But when you read through the comments, all you saw was, you know, friends, family, people they didn't know saying, you know, your son, a career like welding that will pay him for the rest of his life, and he'll be able to raise a family, and he'll be able to go and do great things. And Sundt's such a great, you know, great company, you know, and it was just really, it was kind of one of those aha moments where I think all of us, we shared it amongst all of us. And it was one of those moments where we got to sit back and go, you know, this is what we're really working for, right? You know, yes, student numbers are great. You know, the 100% employment rate is amazing. There's very few places that every single person that goes through the program gets a job. And we're very proud of all those things. But this right here, we thought was really the crown jewel of the work that we've done for the last 3 years.
And that's what it's about. So
leading the way, this is the part that we like to share with everyone on how this can be replicated aside from just the Sundt Central Arizona College program. So James, if you want to go through these, and then I can talk to some of the ones that involve Sundt.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, the first one on there, you know, CAC has expanded to, you know, 2 new campuses. We've outgrown the campus that traditionally we had all of our skilled trades at. We, you know, we're at max capacity there. So we've actually started 2 new programs at two different campuses. And we're looking at adding more programs next year and more programs next year just to keep up with the need. You know, and I'll kind of let Sean talk about Tarrant County College, because they were one of the first, you know, organizations we worked with to replicate this program. So do you want to talk about Tarrant County College, and then I'll talk about Wilson?
Yeah. So
we have about 6 minutes until we need to take questions.
I will go real fast. So we had the opportunity, Tarrant County, their leadership had heard about our partnership, reached out. We went and met with Tarrant County Community College. When we met, James came with me as a partner. We sat down, looked at what they had, looked at what opportunities were there. They have since started up one program, a pipe fitter apprenticeship. They've also gone in and leased some land to start up the heavy equipment program, and they're also looking at industrial carpentry. And then in San Antonio, we are in talks with Alamo College and a group called the Valor Club that focuses on veterans. And we're looking at the same type of partnership there where we can, you know, get people into the construction industry, but the Valor Club will add in with bringing in veterans as they're processing out of armed services. So I'm very proud of that one also. James, you want to talk about?
Yeah, we're short on time. I just want to mention the Wilson Electric program. You know, you know, we had a really short time frame for developing the Sundt CAC partnership. Wilson had heard about the Sundt CAC partnership and very humbly came to us and said, listen, we want to do that. We don't want to do a Wilson partnership. We want to do exactly what Sundt did. Within 2 months, we were able to develop a program, implement it. We had max enrollment the very first semester, graduated the employees. We had great feedback from superintendents. Wilson hired 100% of the graduates. We started this semester, 100% enrollment. They're looking at hiring 100% of the graduates. Wilson couldn't be happier. They're actually getting feedback like, you know, the Wilson CAC graduates are more prepared for the workplace than some of our you know, journeyman graduates and things like that, which is great to hear. So, and I felt like that was really a way for us to prove that we could replicate this, because it wasn't just another, you know, it was a totally different industry, like commercial electricity. It was a totally different company, and we were able to pull it off. I think we even did it faster and better than we did the Sundt partnership, because we had the Sundt partnership under our belt already. So
We did the Sundt partnership, what, in 4 months? We had it
3
launched.
months. It was 3 months. 3 months, and I have to tell you, it took a lot of understanding and leeway from leadership to make that happen. Jackie had to knock down a lot of barriers for us to get that kind of turnaround. So,
Okay.
We're on to questions, Jackie.
Yeah, let me stop sharing my screen, and that way I can see the questions. And oh, I can't see them. Are they in the chat?
so we can see them actually.
Okay, you guys take them.
Well, there was one group chat question. Do all Sundt offices have programs like this one? We are in San Antonio and Sundt has an office here. So like I said, we're working with Alamo College right now. We do believe that it's not a if we'll have a partnership, but it's more of a when. We're putting the touches on it. And I'll add this for people outside of Texas. When we had our, we brought a lot of folks in to talk about our partnership to Sundt Arizona College. And there were, what, 5 community colleges there? People from Oregon, people from Kansas,
New
Mexico. And we gave them the model. You know, there's a playbook that we put out with the NCCER and the National AGC. We all came together and worked on this playbook that anybody can have, that talks about how you set up this type of partnership, because it works, and it's a benefit to all 3 folks. It's a benefit to the college, it's a benefit to the construction company, and most important, it's a benefit to the students. And if you can get a value proposition that approaches all 3 angles, you'll have success.
And if I could just add, you know, I don't think that this has to just be a construction
It
formula.
doesn't.
I think that this works across the board. I think this could work in health careers. I think it could work in cybersecurity, IT. I think that this kind of partnership is replicable in any industry, not just construction. It looks like we have another question. It says, can you please share a little bit more about your competency-based instruction? Sure. So, you know, we're fortunate, like I said, to work with the NCCR, which is a competency-based, module-based curriculum. So for every module, you have knowledge base that you have to obtain, you know, that you have to prove through a written test, and then, or an online test. And then you have the competency portion, which is called a performance profile sheet. So there are a list of competencies that you have to do in front of a certified instructor and prove those competencies to a certain degree before you can obtain that certification. So what's nice is we're able to embed certification testing into our training using the NCCR. I hope that answers your question.
Well, and one of the things I want to add to that's been very critical that we get asked about a lot is the way James runs his program is really an 80-20 program. So they spend about 20% of the time in the classroom. The other 80% is outside actually performing the tasks that they're learning. One of the things from a construction standpoint that we don't want folks sitting, let's take welding as an example. We don't want them sitting in a booth for 6 hours a day, 4 hours a day, and they do know how to weld, but then they get out to the field and it's shock and awe because they're not just in a clean room with everything set up perfectly. They may be under a vessel, they may be in an awkward position and dealing with heat. In Arizona, it's hot. Where you're at, it might be cold. James has a lot of their campus set up like a job site. So when I get those students in from Sundt Arizona College, there's no shock.
So that looks like all the questions we have so far. Is there anybody that has a question that, you know, they'd like to unmute themselves and ask a question, or?
We must have done good.
Yeah, I guess so. How are we doing on time, Jackie?
We're good. We have about 9 minutes.
Okay.
Hi guys, I have another question. So I'm very interested in the model that you guys shared, that the new model, how to partner with the local employers instead of using the, you know, the advisory committee. So my question is, how do you develop that new model with other local employers who don't have the needs for hiring the new persons?
Well, so I think let me tackle this from a couple different perspectives. We are on a lot of other boards within the state, like Build Your Future Arizona. We communicate with the Phoenix Chamber of Commerce, all these different folks to get the word out about the programs. The other critical piece is look, I know working for Sundt Construction, we're a larger construction company, and that we have funds that we can spend to help with the program. But that's why we let everybody also recruit from the program. So some of the folks that recruit from the program would not have the money or the resources to donate time as instructors, anything like that. I think that's where I'm very proud of Sundt, that they're willing to help train for the industry versus just for themselves. At Tarrant County, we know that we don't have a lot of work in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We have an office there and we do some work there. So we brought in other partners. We brought in the Walsh Group. We let them know about it. So it's construction companies coming together to support James. And I don't know if that answers the question, but
yeah, and I'm not sure if that answers the question either. But you know, the thing is Jackie and Sean have mentioned checking egos at the door and things like that. You know, when you have good outcomes like we've had, you would be amazed how much easier it is to get competitive companies to work together. We backed up against that problem a little bit in the beginning, where companies were like, oh, it's a Sundt thing, so therefore we're not invited. And we just had to make sure that they knew that that wasn't the case. And now I would say we have a really good network of construction from all different aspects, not just commercial, residential, but, you know, all different aspects, working together to make the program as strong as possible and to hire as many graduates as possible, which contributes to our 100% enrollment.
And I think I would add too, I think part of your question might have been that maybe the employer doesn't have the need for the workforce right now.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, that's a tough question, because we do have some employers that will approach us and say, I need welders. I need 3 welders right now. And then they may not need anybody for a long time. And I think, James, you talked to this a little bit before, how our business is kind of cyclical. But I think, so I don't really have an answer for you about if they don't have the need for the workforce right now, which then maybe you could approach it through an apprenticeship type program, maybe post-skill education or post-employment education. We do some of that. But I would say that sometimes people don't know they have a need until they hear about our program. And that is one thing we've committed to do, is we share anything and everything we do with anybody who asks, whether it's an employer, whether it's another community college, whether it's Build Your Future Arizona. I don't know, I sat on some construction panel one time. Anytime we're asked to come talk about the program, we are committed to doing that, because teaching, it's an industry problem, and we are educators at heart. So we're really committed to sharing what we do with anybody who asks. You know, the webinar that we're doing, these guys have written a little handbook that we hand out. NCCER talks a lot about our program when they're going out through the country. So I hope that answers your question, but I don't think it did.
Well, and maybe I could add something. You know, that was part of how we built our programs. Is we went to the industry and said, which areas are you hurting for the most? You know, what areas are you not being able to find skilled professionals in? And then that is how we built our programs. We didn't build the program and then try to go find an employer.
Right.
We actually built our programs based off of what the highest need in our area was. And we actually ran up against that with one of the colleges we were working with, where they had an amazing program in HVAC, and they did a really good job with it, but they were having a hard time with placement afterwards. And so I asked them, I said, you know, how did you come up with HVAC as your flagship program? And the answer was kind of like, well,
we had somebody who
we knew somebody that could do HVAC. And so we decided to do HVAC. And when we pulled up the national need through the Build Your Future website, HVAC was at the very bottom of their area. And at the very top of their area was things like construction, heavy equipment operator, welder, metal worker, boilermaker, things like that. That's really the program that college should have went after. The higher need, not so much the one that they had the ability to teach.
And I just to add
So
that,
funny. I have to laugh. Go ahead.
One of the struggles that we have right now is not trying to place them. It's that we don't have enough. So the students that are graduating right now have between 4 to 5 offers a month before they graduate. So we can't even keep up with the demand anywhere near where it is. And I would, based off all the projections that are out there, it's going to be this way for the next 10 plus years.
Yeah.
It's that far behind in the need. We've got one more question.
I think Jack had something.
Oh, Jack.
I was just going to add that, you know, it's so funny that in higher ed, so often the reason we build a program, I always say sidewalk conversations. Hey, we should have this. And then you go build the program and you realize there's no need in your area, or because, hey, I know a guy that can teach that, so let's add that program. But using the data to make the decisions has helped us too. Go ahead, the last question, Sean.
We got a question from Juan that says, is Sundt involved with the recruitment of students in this program?
Yeah.
Definitely. We send our recruiters, as well as our instructors, as well as James and I, we go to the career fairs, we go to the high schools, we go to anywhere we're asked to go to help talk about construction awareness. And one, it's critical because in the past, when I would go out and do construction awareness, I would go to a high school, get kids really excited about construction, but not be hiring at the time. So you get them ramped up and then they're like, okay, well, I want to come to work. And then next thing you know, I can't hire them. Now, when we go to these events, I can say, hey, why don't you look at Sundt Arizona College and come in as a helper versus a laborer. So we're very engaged with Sundt Arizona College when it comes into the recruiting of the program.
Yeah, we typically, almost all of our recruiting efforts has a Sundt employee and a CAC employee involved.
Yep.
Well, I think we're right up on the time, aren't we, Jackie?
We are. So I'll close it up. Thank you all very much for joining the webinar. If you want any more information, we are happy to share our bellwether binder with anyone that has a lot more details about the program, including the handbook. I think you all have our email addresses. We're always happy to answer any emails we might get about the program. And we appreciate your time today. And I hope everyone stays well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.